Okay, TW, I have been waiting for this. I kind of had a source tell me that there's going to be an indictment.
Yeah, you've been kind of giddy. I've been kind of feeling that giddy energy.
I have been waiting. I kind of enjoy seeing some of these political opponents of President Trump have to go answer for questions in court themselves. What do you think we see here tomorrow when he makes his first appearance?
Well, I think it's fib around and find out, right? I mean, this is a guy who spent his time making sure that Donald Trump's life was miserable. He was trusted by the president. He was leaking information out of the White House like nobody's business ever. And so I'm glad to see him finally brought to justice. Again, he needs his day in court. He's obviously presumed innocent until proven guilty, no doubt about that. But the writing's on the wall for John Bolton. He has spent a career being a bad seed. In my opinion, in many ways, he could have compromised his integrity, but not only his integrity, but the national security of this country. And the difference between this indictment against him and President Trump, the president of the United States has the ability to deem anything he wants to as unclassified.
You're right.
John Bolton does not have that ability. And so I'm interested to see where the law goes. But again, this just goes to show you people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks and stones.
That is so true.
Keep your mustache out of the president's business and out of classified documents.
And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that you're supposed to be presumed innocent and get your day in court, because that was one thing that you didn't hear people say over and over again when we saw President Trump going in and out of court. Isn't that right, Harrison?
Yeah, he said the president's political career was over. He relished in the ongoing lawfare against the former president when it came to this bogus documents case that was thrown out, proved to be no there. Meanwhile, they went through the First Lady's closet. They completely upended Mar-a-Lago to find these documents, and the case went nowhere. So now we have a guy who was holier than thou, pointed his finger and his mustache at the American people and told them how bad Donald Trump was. Meanwhile, he was doing it to an 8th degree, 18 criminal federal charges on this man, all of them packing a sentence of potentially 10 years. He has a long uphill battle. And for anyone that says it's political retribution, this is not political retribution. This was 5 years in the making. The Biden DOJ also was looking at this. 2 courts in Maryland and Virginia both looked at this. He has, of course, his day in court, but it doesn't look too good for Mustache.
And I think we'll also get some more facts coming on. I know one of my sources was saying with the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid, which you brought up, was that they were cooperating. They were actually, every time they went, they actually got documents back, which was kind of why was there a need for this over-the-top raid. The question will be if we know if John Bolton was cooperating at all before all of this had to go down. But since he was fired by President Trump, Bolton went on a rampage trying to convict the president in the court of public opinion.
If he has anything like what the indictment alleges, and of course the government will have to prove it, then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself, because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't throw everything up against the wall to see what would stick. This really is a rifle shot, and I think it should be the end of Donald Trump's political career.
So, Mary Margaret, you and I kind of chatted right before the cameras went on, and you said, wasn't he on camera talking about this all the time? And there you go. So is he holier than thou? Is that kind of how things work here?
Apparently, and I have to say, I spend all my time with Legacy Press, and so I already know that the messaging we're going to be seeing coming out of this is the president is pursuing his political enemies, when, as Harrison was just saying, the Biden DOJ was looking into Bolton, and we've seen for the past 4 years, 5 years, Biden administration officials, Democrats all across the board pursuing these charges against the president, trying to put him and his sons and other members of his family in jail. So personally, I'm going to be very interested in seeing how the legacy media pursue this narrative on this topic, because it seems very clearly laid out before us, and it's frustrating. I mean, the president was talking about this in the Oval Office yesterday. He was saying, I have been seeing the DOJ, I've seen the government weaponized against me, and now when we're looking at some of these very obvious cases, I'm being the one that's being accused of being the persecutor. So it's just an interesting fact pattern to see emerge after all these years.
Right, it's like the standards in Washington are only double standards, right? So I guess, Jason, I always like to come to you when we talk about James Comey. We talk about Letitia James. You and I went back and forth on the whole Lisa Cook thing. So where are you on John Bolton?
So first of all, let me be clear. I'm not the biggest fan of John Bolton. I think he's, a neocon, war hawk. and he always has been throughout his entire political career.
Very good. Let's leave it right there.
Yeah, we all agree. Okay.
But in his book, he basically was talking about, political and diplomatic information. There wasn't any kind of operational secrets that people should be concerned about. And the political information, any political information is, hold on, is of public interest. So the public has the right to know political information.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.